Hi there, welcome to Island Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Scorpio energy. And we had two cards come out right away. The fourth chakra, which is the heart chakra. And then we have the broken heart. You know, we've all got lessons to learn. We can love all sorts of people in the world, but they might not be people who have learned some of the same lessons that we've learned. And they might, the broken heart, reminds me of the Three of Swords, which is Libra energy, which is about what we think is just and fair and what our truth is. And sometimes we can love people, from our children to our parents and all the different people in between and in the world. And life's about learning lessons, and some people don't like to be just and fair, aren't very balanced within themselves, can be hurtful and unkind, live more from their mind than their heart. And the reason those two cards came out is because of rest and rejuvenation, which I view as like a Four of Swords card, which is also Libra energy, that if we meditate on the truth of the situation and just seeing the truth that some people just aren't open to love, for some, have a lot of growing up and healing and maturing to do. And when we see the truth of it, that's when we can come to a place of like peace about it, that, you know, everybody is where they're at. I can't make other people heal and grow mature, just like when I was younger and more immature or whatever, defensive or fearful. You know, there was people in my life who loved me that wanted me to live my life differently, you know, and you've got to go through your own life experiences. So we kind of wish people peace. Everybody's going to kind of got to maybe learn some lessons the hard way about what it means to be just and fair in relationships. And, you know, you do have to heal from past pain and heartbreak. And that's what some high vibe people did. They saw the truth. I need to heal from my own past pain and heartbreak so that I don't let other people in the world who are hurtful and unkind or unjust or unfair keep me in heartbroken energy. I just see the truth that they haven't learned to be very loving or just or fair or act with character or integrity or grow up. And I wish them peace, and I heal, and I move forward in life. There could be some people right now that have love for some high vibe people, and they're heartbroken that those people have seen the truth and that those people have healed. And if they're still in kind of shadowy energy and they kind of love their more shadowy ways of being, or being in relationships with people who are heartbroken, they have an idea and they're going to go try to find someone else who they think they can hurt or not be just and fair with, or live more from their mind than their heart with, who's maybe on the same page as them and who maybe won't heal from their past pain and heartbreak and will keep staying in a relationship with them. We can all get in relationships with people. We can love people. We can put work and effort to try to heal relationships, but both people have to be motivated and inspired to heal from the things that manipulate them. And some people, you either see the truth and you heal, or you have an idea. I don't have to do that. I have a different idea. And they're going to move forward with their idea that I don't have to heal from past pain and heartbreak. I don't have to be more just and fair. I love making my life maybe more about me. That's my truth. I go indulge in these things in the world to make me feel better. That's my truth. I don't need love. I get hurt doing love. I'm not going to do love. And then they'll go try to find someone else who might feel that same way. And everybody kind of likes to hang out with people who view life the way they do, right? So some people are moving forward. They have offered love to their heartbreak. They've healed. They're ready to move forward in life differently. Other people are seeing the truth that they're in a more mismatched relationship. They see the truth of it, and they're going to take action on that truth, speak their truth. And other people are like, no, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to be in relationships with people who are more just or fair or healed, and they're going to go try to find someone who's more on the same page as them. So tell us a little bit more about this story. And we're reading it from all these different perspectives because it's not a personal reading. I don't know anything about your life or the type of people you're dealing with. And just in general, this, Scorpio energy is emotional water sign energy. And in high vibe Scorpio, people want to be in deep, meaningful relationships. But other people in their Scorpio energy, which all of us tap into Scorpio energy, other people don't want to be in more deep, meaningful relationships. That's not their truth. They get hurt doing that. They'd have to heal to be more authentic and loving in a relationship. And they might prefer to keep their emotions more buried beneath the surface, be a little more emotionally shallow, superficial, make their life and get in relationships for more superficial reasons, money, status, ego, image, to get like justice in the world. And for some people, love is optional and they don't even care if there's love. As long as they got those things that they want, they're good. So we have the Temperance card. Everybody's trying to balance out their emotions about how they're choosing to live their life. Why? Because of the Hangman and the Two of Wands. The Hangman can talk about, it's our Pisces energy of what we find emotionally fulfilling and how we view life. And the Two of Wands is Aries energy. We have a dream. We all have an idea of what we think would be the dream life, how to live our life, what kind of relationships we'd like to be in, how we envision it. And some people's idea is maybe shadowy Hangman can be, I do like to operate from my ego. And I could be shadowy Aries. I'm kind of more about myself. And I could be more motivated by the past and doing things the way I've done things in the past. I don't want to do life differently. I don't want to look at life differently. I don't want to look at life from other people's perspective. I might not want to take other people's perspective into account. It's more about me. Some people have a dream of being in relationships with other people who feel stuck. Oh, did you love someone and it ended up in heartbreak and you're trying to heal? Let me come get in a relationship with you. You're stuck, right? Perfect. I like people who are stuck. Shadowy fire energy can be, I kind of want to indulge in a relationship with you. So long as you're stuck, as long as you haven't maybe seen the truth that you're this loving, nurturing person that other people hadn't grown and healed and matured themselves, and you still haven't been enlightened to the truth of it, and you're still in heartbreak because you're still kind of haven't been enlightened to the truth about some of the people in your life, perfect. I'll be the next person to come in and indulge in a relationship with you. For other people, they have been enlightened to the truth. They did look at life and realize not everybody views life from the perspective I view life. Some people are stubborn. Some people are prideful. Some people are more about themselves. Some people do live more from their mind than their heart. Some people are all about just indulging themselves. And I see the truth about some of the people in my life that just hadn't learned some of the lessons I've learned in life or aren't motivated by love. And I have a dream. And if some people get the idea, because when we're kind of in our more worldly, shadowy, egoic energy, kind of clouds our judgment, that also is like kind of a shadowy Pisces energy. We're not seeing things clearly, which anybody in their Pisces energy of self can feel that way. There's some people who aren't seeing the truth about some high vibe people in their life. And they think, oh, I can maybe control them. I can keep them stuck right here. Or they don't realize that some people are enlightened to the truth and they're going to go try to talk to some people and then they're going to get enlightened to the truth. That the high vibe people have kind of wrapped their brain around this game of life because Sagittarius energy of the Temperance card is about higher learning and education. I might have been heartbroken, but I've healed. I'm being patient in my fire sign energy. I've been illuminated to the truth. I do have a dream. And I don't think I'm the boss. And I'm not going to go take action more out of pride or ego or heartbreak or fear or codependency or insecurity. I'm listening to my intuition, and I'm believing in myself, and I'm believing in my dreams, and I'm just living my life listening to my intuition about the different people that I meet and I communicate with, about who is on the same page as me and who isn't on the same page. But other people could view you and think you're stuck. So I can come in and think I can use my charm or my looks or my charisma or something, or hope that you're heartbroken and stuck and you'll indulge me in a relationship. And it's like, they will be enlightened to the truth that that's not the energy that you're in. You're in inspired energy. High vibe Sagittarius is, I'm looking to go on an adventure in life, but with people who are enlightened, by people who are inspired by justice, fairness, truth, love. And if you meet someone who seems to be more about themselves, seems to be a little self-indulgent, a little prideful, they might be in their own pain and heartbreak and just looking to get in a new relationship to feel better. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not just getting in a relationship to feel better, because it's not going to work out anyway if that's the reason why people are in it. I will get to know people, but as I am getting to know them, I'm listening to my intuition to get enlightened about the truth of who they are, what drives and motivates them. And the more patient you are in maintaining balance within yourself, both Libra and the Temperance card can talk about maintaining balance, because Libra is represented by the scales of justice, and the Temperance is about kind of tempering your more fiery nature with your more loving nature and the things that you want to pursue. Let's see what else is coming up. Tell us a little more about this story. High vibe people are being patient. The more worldly, shadowy people are trying to balance out their emotions, but again, if you haven't learned to heal and be enlightened, that it starts within yourself, because Aries energy is about the self, you're going to keep looking outside of yourself for the answer. I'm going to look to a relationship. I'm going to look to drugs or booze or food to be the answer, to make me feel better. The answer lies within us. We are the one who holds the key to freeing ourselves from what manipulates us. Looking at life differently, being inspired to believe in ourselves and believe in our dreams sets us free. And as long as other people haven't been enlightened to that truth and they think they can control things and they're the boss, kinda, male or female, they're probably going to keep being more inspired to take action to feel better because they feel stuck or they're in their ego. And they will repeat an old pattern. Sagittarius about learning lessons. They're going to repeat some old patterns and they still have some lessons to learn. Some other people already did that, repeated those patterns, maybe had more life experience than they did. They already found out that when I think I'm the boss and I take action more out of pride and ego or heartbreak, or look outside of myself to be the answer to me feeling healed and feeling better, it puts me in codependent energy. And there's all sorts of people who would like to be in a relationship with me, being in codependent energy, basically. Are you in your fear? Are you in your lust? Are you in your greed? Yeah, I'll get in a relationship with you. Love that. But if you're more healed and balanced and enlightened, well, no. I don't know that I want to be in a relationship with you. I'm going to go find someone who's heartbroken and feels stuck, looking for someone to be the answer to their problems, and I will act like I am the answer to their problems. But I'm really maybe more about me, my wants, my needs, my lusts, my greed, my pride, my ego. And until we're enlightened to the truth that not everybody has good intentions for people, and we learn to kind of maintain balance within ourselves so we don't take action from more worldly, shadowy energy, and we listen and we learn to listen to our intuition, then we will have a better chance of having our dream come into reality. Okay, so what's coming up next? We have the Five of Wands and the Five of Cups. And the reason those came out is because of the Ten of Swords. The fives in tarot can talk about change. It's kind of a transition point. And we have inner conflict and we have regrets about the past. But have we meditated on the truth of that? That we've dealt with people who have their inner conflict and their regrets about the past. But instead of dealing with those things, the tens can talk about completing a cycle where we kind of meditated on the truth. This card being like the Four of Swords, this one being the 10. The difference in between is the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords talks about we had a dream we wanted to have come into reality. We have worked with other people that we were being patient with, is what the Temperance card can talk about. We had a dream. We wanted them to kind of be willing to see things from our perspective. Hopefully we were trying to see things from their perspective. But if one person is unwilling to close out, kind of work through those things that manipulate them, their past pain and heartbreak, their fear, their insecurities, living more from their mind than their heart, being competitive in the world, rejecting love, using their emotions manipulatively in a relationship, choosing to not want to do love, make their life more about themselves, thinking they'll be happy, making their life more about pride and ego, thinking if they have these things of the world, they'll be happy. You know, we do kind of view life differently. You know, and kind of what motivates and inspires us, both Sagittarius and Aries, and the Five of Wands is Leo energy, are all three of the fire sign energies. Kind of what drives and motivates us is different. Some people are motivated. I don't want to be in my pain and heartbreak. I too have had people in my life that were hurtful, that were unkind, that were bossy, controlling, not just and fair, backstabbed and betrayed me. But I don't like staying in that energy. And I don't like that energy being what blocks me from moving forward in my life, having hope and faith and belief in my dreams, or I'm still focused. The Five of Cups, people are focused on the people in their life who didn't work cooperatively with them in love versus looking to the future and focusing more on the people in their life who do work cooperatively with them in love. Just enjoying your life and friends and family, right? But because this energy blocks them, because we'd have to kind of let go of an old dream to move forward with a new dream. We'd have to complete that phase of life and see that phase of life and a way of living life and viewing life. And, you know, because again, we kind of have conflicting dreams, or we have one person has healed or grown or matured, one person hasn't, you know, and we need to see the truth of it. And until some of the other people in our life complete a cycle, if they ever do, one person is ready to move forward because these things no longer stop them. And the other people are like, I'm not even going to deal with those things. And it's kind of like, if you want to be in a relationship with me, you need to do this. And it's like, but I've already done this. I'm already ready to go over here. I've already worked through my inner conflict about past pain and heartbreak. I'm already ready to have a new beginning, because when we complete the Ten of Swords, we come out with the Ace of Swords. I view life differently. What I think is just and fair is different. How I view myself is different. How I view the world is different. How I view others. How I view relationships. You know, we all go through cycles of life to learn lessons in life. We did at age 15, 18, 21, 25. Hopefully, at those different ages, we didn't view ourselves in the world and how we viewed relationships the same as we did when we were those other age groups. Hopefully, throughout those periods of time, we learned lessons in life. Hopefully, we learn that it's not just all about us. That if we want to be in more inspired, balanced, just, fair relationships, we need to be enlightened to the truth that it's not just all about us, our wants, our needs, our lust, our greed, our pride, our ego. But some people haven't learned that lesson. And they still think it should be more about them. If I want to be bossy and controlling, I should be able to be bossy and controlling. If I want to be immature, prideful, and stubborn, I should be able to do that. Some people have been indulged a lot in their life. And they think people should just keep indulging them. And people can want to avoid dealing with the truth. I don't want to look at life differently. I don't want to see the truth about myself. Some people have past pain and heartbreak, but they don't want to deal with the truth of that. There could be people in their life, like I say, that they wished would have put an end to their more competitive, past pain and heartbreak, manipulative, bossy, controlling ways to be more just and fair with them. But since those people weren't more just and fair, some of those people decided that's it. I'm not even going to do love anymore. I'm just going to balance out my emotions that I have decided to operate more from my ego and maybe my defensive nature, because Libra energy I also view as being represented by the King of Swords, and I view the King of Swords can be a person's self-protective, defensive nature. Kind of like you can't let your more hopeful, believing, loving nature go out in the world. They could get hurt. So then it's like our ego of self-protectiveness is running our life. And we think that will make us happy. And we're just going to balance out our emotions about the fact that we've decided, I don't trust other people anymore. These other people disappointed me. Now I don't trust anyone. Well, that's too bad, because not everybody's, everybody has learned these different lessons. And just because some of the people in our life were bossy, controlling, manipulative, hurtful, unkind, lived more from their mind than their heart, had dealt with their past pain and heartbreak, doesn't mean everybody has. How about we get to know people and find out what their truth is? And then we work through our own inner conflict that we have about trusting other people. And we think about, what about the people I'm in relationship with now? Do they seem to look at life differently than some of the people that I had been trying to bring a dream into reality with before? Do they seem to want to win at all cost? Or do they seem to be more healed or just or fair or insightful or loving or inspired to change? We've all been in relationships with people who turn their back on change. I'm not changing. Whatever way I am, that's the way I'm going to be. Deal with it or leave. My way or the highway. What about, not everybody's like that. And it's just like some people are unwilling to see that, even that truth. I just reject everybody now. No, not doing love with anybody. Well, because these people have this inner conflict and this heartbreak, some relationships probably won't work out the way they want. If they're thinking the safe bet is to make it just more about me, and if somebody doesn't make it more about me, then I'm not going to be in a relationship with them, because that puts me at risk of compromise, I guess, and I'm not willing to compromise. Well, then they're going to have some people end relationships with them too. Some people don't want to see they are stubborn and prideful and it's all about them, and other people are illuminated to the truth, and other people end relationships with them. Those people could be sad, but those people heal. They still have hope and faith and belief in their dreams. They just realize that their dream can't come into reality with them, and they let those people go, and they keep moving forward believing in their dreams. They realize the only person I can change is me, and I can stay in my inner conflict and my sadness, which is probably kind of why these people act the way they do. And we'll have one more person in the world that's in shadowy energy. And I don't want to be one of those people. And the only person I can change is me. So I am going to meditate on the truth of it. I am in high vibe Aquarius energy, which is kind of what this kind of represents in the Six of Swords. I am going to balance out my strong emotions. That I did have a dream, but I was dealing with some people that just don't view life the same way as me. But I'm not willing to give up on my dreams. And I am going to work through my inner conflict and my pain and heartbreak about it. And have hope and faith and belief in my dreams. My dreams can only come into reality with people who are on the same page as me. And they're not there yet, and they may never be there yet, ever, so I wish them peace. Love is the answer. I wish them peace, but I'm not going to stay in relationships with people who seem to want to fight with me, compete with me, like I am the competition to be defeated. Because some people in their shadowy energy, it is aligned with their more competitive nature. And everybody is like the competition for them to defeat, to make themselves feel better than. Because they have these issues within themselves they haven't dealt with. And other people want other people sad and feeling defeated and not loving and believing in themselves. So they'll do the relationship the way they want to do it. And it's like, I'm not going to live my life like that. And I'm not going to stay in that energy. And because I have hope and faith and belief in my dreams, and I put things in perspective, and I look at things from the big picture, I'm probably going to live 80 years. And I believe that the divine works with me to bring my dreams into reality. I'm not the boss. I have to be willing to deal with the truth. When things don't seem to be going the way I thought they were going to go, I'm not going to keep backstabbing and betraying myself and staying in relationships with people who kind of don't want me to heal and grow and believe in myself and love myself, and they're maybe not doing that within themselves. I'm going to wish them peace and close out that cycle. And I'm going to move forward with the people. From the Two of Wands to the Five of Wands, it's like taking back the Three of Wands. My dream can't come into reality here. And the only person I can change is me. So I'm going to work through that inner conflict to go work with people who have kind of went through similar experiences, maybe like me, and learned some of the same lessons as me, who also have no interest in repeating this type of relationship dynamic. That some of the people in my life are still viewing life that way and living life that way and thinking about themselves and other people in relationships that way. I don't want to live my life that way, and I want to be in relationships with other people who don't live their life that way. So what's coming up next in the story? For some of the people who healed, balanced out their emotions, believed in their dreams, and are continuing to move forward, it can have a lot of people upset and sad. They would have liked to have been in a relationship with you, but only if you did the relationship the way they like to do it, because they don't want to do it your way. And maybe in the Six of Swords of Aquarius energy, it can be people again who are kind of more about themselves or caught up in more the worldly dream and making their life more about those things. And other people are like, I've already made my life about those things, and I didn't find it as emotionally fulfilling and abundant as I thought it would be. So now high vibe energy is about being more balanced. Do I want some of these things in the world? Yes. But I also realize the importance of being in authentic, just, fair, balanced, loving relationships, me feeling balanced within myself, not indulging poor behavior in myself or others, wanting to be in relationships with other people who've learned those lessons, know how to maintain balance within themselves, have healed, been enlightened to the truth. They've also changed. Those are the people I want to move forward with. So what is next in this story? The Chariot in reverse, because of the Four of Wands in reverse, we're not going. The Chariot can talk about moving forward with something, and the Chariot is Cancer energy about, love. There could be, again, people, the Four of Wands, Aries energy, can talk about a foundation that we'd come together with at some point in time in our life, or that we wanted to come together with. Maybe enjoy, celebration, relationship, marriage. It can be workplaces, family dynamics, relationships, friendships. We see we can't move forward with people who aren't harnessing high vibe Cancer energy, which Cancer is emotional water sign energy, motivated and inspired by love. Knowing that love is to be just and fair and balanced. That's not the foundation they operate from within themselves. Because, again, the Four of Wands is Aries energy of the self. Doesn't have to mean you're dealing with an Aries. Everybody harnesses these energies, these zodiac sign traits and characteristics, in a more high vibe, a more worldly, or a more shadowy way. So we're done thinking we can move forward with people who aren't motivated and inspired by love. And if they, and we are, we just realize we can't keep moving forward with those people, and then we no longer view those people as a victory, because the Chariot is about moving forward in something we think is victorious and successful. Okay, guess we're going to have to do another. What else is coming up in the story? And for the people that are with the people in our life who are working together with us in high vibe energy, we're working together from love, being just and fair. We've been enlightened to the truth. We have a dream we want to bring into reality. We're working with people in our life who are inspired by the same energy. And with those people, we're not interested in moving forward in a way that is hurtful and unkind and unloving and unjust and unfair. We keep putting in work and effort in that relationship. Everybody is inspired to do this work within themselves, to complete cycles together. Just like we had friends when we were 15 and 18 and 21 and 25. Some of those people we kind of move forward in life, maybe kind of at different times, but eventually we all learned some of the same lessons, and we all gave up our more immature, childish ways of being, and we both had dealt through some issues of detaching from an old way of living life to move forward in a new way of life. And it's not more about shadowy Chariot, can be more about ego and image and being inspired to be in relationships with each other for those reasons. And people want to move forward together, not because of those shadowy reasons, but because they love these people and believe their dreams can come into reality. But they've been enlightened to the truth that if I harness these energies in a shadowy way, this isn't going to work. So people work through, when they kind of get tempted to act in shadowy ways, they work through that. Why would I do that? I would sabotage this relationship. And they work through why they would be tempted, maybe in their ego, to act that way. And then they don't do that. And they're inspired to kind of let go, because we can all be in relationships where, it can be kind of this push and pull, like, well, but I wanted to do it this way. It's like, well, I wanted to do it that way. It's like, where we quit making it more about ourselves. And it is about working together cooperatively in love. And then we have the Magician, the Five of Swords, and the Hermit, because of the Page of Wands. The Magician talks about wanting to manifest a new beginning. The Five of Swords, because we have a dream. The Hermit, we've done this inner work within ourselves. We know when we're kind of tempted to act in our more immature nature, but we want to manifest and be in that hopeful, believing nature. And we want to work together with other people who have also are more motivated and inspired by their more hopeful, believing nature, who've also changed, who've also learned these lessons in life, who, when they are kind of tempted to act in their more immature nature, they do this work within themselves to figure out why they would be tempted to do that, and they keep moving forward with people in their life that they believe are loving and encouraging of them, want them to grow to their full potential, want them to love and believe in themselves, not to get up in their ego of thinking they should kind of be indulged in some way. And then we have the Four of Pentacles, knowing that there's some people in our life that we don't want to end relationships with because we'd be moving forward maybe in a more unloving, uninspired relationship. We don't want to be in relationships with people who are being more immature and manipulative. Why would we think other people would want to be in a relationship with us if we're being more immature and manipulative or selfish or greedy or not opening up and unwilling to change? But there are some people in the world like that. They get in relationships, they have this idea, they're unwilling to change. They do not want to do love, probably because they haven't learned to love themselves, and that isn't what drives and motivates them. They are more motivated by their more worldly nature of self. That is what manipulates them, and even though it might cause them some mental conflict, it's really those themselves or these things of the world that drive and motivate them. But they try to hide from people that they're really kind of more immature and self-motivated than they don't want people to know that truth about them. But, you can only hide the truth so long, and it's easier to hide the truth from people who just know you as a social acquaintance. People who actually get in a romantic relationship with people and are trying to bring a dream into reality, they wonder why isn't this moving forward? And then they start to realize that the people they're in a relationship with obviously have some unresolved issues that they're maybe not working through, and maybe they were never planning to move forward in a victory in a relationship or to come together, maybe in joy and celebration. And that maybe, as long as they weren't seeing the truth of it, these other people could indulge themselves in a relationship being kind of selfish and greedy and more about themselves. Maybe just trying to manipulate someone else. Because if you're not being truthful and honest and authentic in a relationship, you're kind of trying to manipulate them for your own reasons. And sometimes some people who had other people in their life who ended a relationship with them, they're in their ego about it. And shadowy hangman can be, I'm going to prove a point. I am unwilling to change, and if that person isn't going to stay in a relationship with me or something, I'm going to let go of them, and I am going to go communicate to other people. Basically use someone else as a pawn in my game to cause mental conflict and to backstab someone else. And if it bothers those people in my past enough, well, maybe those people won't keep loving and believing in themselves. And maybe I can manipulate them into communicating with me again that they want to hold on to me. And if they're willing to do the relationship the way I want, then I'll get in a relationship with them again. So as some of you are moving forward and you're meeting new people, it's just to listen to your intuition as you meet new people. The magician talks about I am willing to get to know people invest some time, energy, and effort into people. I'm not going to, move forward with them in a more involved relationship until, to move forward from the Four of Pentacles, you'd have to get to the Five of Pentacles, which is adding the truth to the situation. I can be in balanced, kind of harmonious relationships with people. I can work to balance things out with people to the best of my ability. But if, as I get to know people, I realize that, I'm sensing you don't really open up much, or, and if you're a much more open, giving of yourself type of person and the other person isn't, it's like, yeah, I've already been in relationships with people who are like that, and I found out I don't really like that. If I'm in a relationship with someone who still has a lot of inner conflict about things in their past, if being friends, we can work through those things and put things in perspective, and if everybody realizes that nobody's kind of interested in, being in the relationship more for ego or image or status or whatever, isn't the driving factor, that it's more about authenticity and love, and if people realize that everybody's changed and everybody's grown and healed and everybody's learned lessons in life and everybody is willing to look to the future and put in this work and effort to be more hopeful and believing and loving, then those are people, you would maybe hold on to and get to know more. And the people who might communicate with you that, oh, they've put all the inner conflict and past pain and heartbreak behind them, that they're no longer about moving forward in this, but you still have mental conflict because either you know them and they're just trying to create an illusion, or if, say, you know someone and they are really more about ego or image or money or materialism, or more about, I don't know, trying to create some illusion in the world is kind of the most important thing to them. And they haven't gotten in the driver's seat of their life from love, and they're not firing on all four cylinders. And it's not about working together with people cooperatively. They're still the same person they were. I think you won't move forward with those people because shadowy magician is someone who tries to create the illusion they've changed, but they're still kind of the same, more aligned with their more immature worldly view of life. Regardless if it's someone you know or someone you meet, you kind of get to know them. People are either more authentic, just, fair, balanced, enlightened, self-reflective, insightful, less egotistical and ego-focused, and just seem to look at life from a higher perspective, or knowing when you talk to someone, if it is someone that that they really have kind of changed, and again, who we could have been when we were younger can be different than who we are when we're older because of these life experiences we went through. Other people, they got older, but they're still kind of the exact same person, pretty much philosophy of life that they had when they were younger. And it's like, yeah, no, I wish you peace. But just because the people you went to go get in a relationship with that are more aligned with how you view life, that didn't work out victoriously. Now you kind of want to get in a relationship with me, but we might have already found out that we kind of view life differently, and our ideas of what we think is just and fair and what we find emotionally fulfilling and what drives and motivates us, we're still not on the same page. Our truth is different. And in the Ten of Swords is Gemini energy, and Gemini energy is about our philosophy of life and what our truth is. Do we build a foundation within ourselves, taking action in our life out of truth and love? And that is the guiding factor of love for ourselves, to treat other people in a just and fair manner, to grow and mature ourselves and learn lessons in life. Is that our truth, or is it more about me, the world, indulgence, ego? I can only have my dream come into reality with people who, if I'm motivated more by truth and love and growing and healing, maturing, I need to be in relationships. And if I try to be more self-aware of why I do what I do, I want to be in relationships with people who seem to have some self-awareness about why they do what they do. And some people are completely clueless. They just do what they want to do, and then they hope that they can confuse people about the truth of why they do what they do, and hoping if those people have mental conflict, because that those people will hide from the truth too. It's like, I'm no longer hiding from the truth. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Scorpio energy that they might not see coming? The high vibe people are manifesting change. They are looking to the future. They're taking the lessons that they have learned. The Four of Pentacles comes after the Three of Pentacles. There are some people in your life that you have worked with, that you have seen the truth of them and you are not interested in working with them again, or people who view life like them or have some of the same attitudes or ways of viewing life or relationships as they do. It's like, no, I'm holding back from those people. And I'm looking to manifest with other people who've learned some of those same lessons as me, who also had mental conflict about being in relationships with people who create the illusion they're motivated by love, but they're not, who are hiding they were more immature instead of inspired by love. And I'm looking for those people to be in relationship with. And the people that in my life that are those kind of people, I'm going to keep holding on to them. They're going to keep holding on to me, and we're going to keep moving forward to meet more people in the world who are on that page. What's coming up for the high vibe people? The Ace of Cups. Why? Because you put an end to being in a mental prison about the situation. You freed yourself. Some people do, they try to go get in a different relationship, thinking that is the answer to them being in a mental prison. But they're just repeating an old pattern. The answer lies within you offering love to yourself and to the past, so that you can detach from the past and let it go in the Death card, to no longer be in a mental prison about it. And then in high vibe, that transforms your whole life. And you move forward a different person than you were before. You're not the same person that you were before. You've worked through all of that to have that hopeful, believing spirit again. And you've completed a cycle. You're going to have this new beginning, because you worked through all those things that had you up in your head. And now, in your Gemini energy, you are focused on truth and love to guide the decisions you make. Where before, we've all been more, we wanted these things in the world, we wanted to be in a relationship, we were more in our fear and our insecurity and our codependent nature. And it's like all those life experiences helped you realize that when you stayed in that energy, things didn't work out the way you wanted. And you have a dream, and you've learned the truth, which was that you needed to invest in loving yourself and believing in your dreams. And when you love yourself and maintain balance within yourself, working together with people in just and fair and loving ways, seeing things from other people's perspectives, but seeing the truth that when some people, it's like, yeah, we can be friends, but this relationship isn't moving forward in anything else because we're on completely different pages. You see the truth of that. and you don't move forward in those type of mismatched relationships. And I can wish everybody peace. I can be friends with different people, but the people I'm going to focus my attention on and invest more of my time, energy, and effort into are people who are more on the same page as me. And I'm not going to get in a relationship to make myself feel better. I want to be available to get in a relationship with the right person when the right person comes along. Some other people didn't do that, and some of those people are like, shit. Now, if the right person came along, I have to end the relationship I might have gotten into when I did feel stuck. And instead of doing this work within myself to love and believe in myself, I kind of got myself in a relationship I shouldn't have gotten in. Now I have a lot of inner conflict and I could be sad, but I also could have inner conflict about ending it because then we kind of, you know, maybe that looked victorious and successful. Maybe people viewed us as a loving and just and fair person, but maybe we got in a relationship and it really wasn't because of love. Or, maybe we were kind of manipulated when we were kind of more immature and codependent. Are we willing to reveal the truth? Are we going to keep staying in something? There's consequences for our actions. And sometimes when we think we're the boss, and we think we're making these good decisions. Oh no, I'm sure this is a good decision. um, we kind of realize we didn't make a good decision. But are we then willing to get out of our ego to let go of, we can be tempted to stay in things just because we're afraid of getting out of it. We could be tempted to stay in something because maybe we won't look like as victorious and successful as we would if we'd stayed in that job, friendship, or relationship. We're not sure what the future holds. So sometimes we stay in something and we watch other people move forward and transform their life, and we're sitting there kind of watching them, hiding that we're not doing that in our life because we have fear of letting go of being more about ourselves, our fear of being backstabbed. If we are in other jobs, friendships, or relationships that we'd rather get out of, we're kind of in more codependent energy and afraid to let go of it. Well, we're all manifesting our life and our future. Some people found themselves in those situations, whether someone new came along or not. But it was like, in truth and love, they loved themselves enough, and they probably spoke truth and love to the people in their life. I am moving forward in life differently. Do you want to come with me or do you not? Are you on that same page? But I'm not going to keep moving forward with people who seem to want to fight with me, want to hold back from me, are backstabbing me, are turning their back to me, are acting from pride and ego, who keep thinking and being hurtful or unkind, and they just keep thinking I should balance out my emotions out of my own fear of letting go of them. It's like, no, I will wish you peace and I will move on. If you're not inspired to change and deal with the truth, and if my truth is different than your truth, then fine. But couldn't we tell the truth? And some people didn't want to tell the truth. Some people didn't want to move forward with you. You didn't really want to keep moving forward with them. But high vibe people love the people. They wanted it to be a just and fair relationship, regardless, at peace. Just because you want to live your life maybe a different way than me doesn't mean I got to backstab and betray you. But some people think you do. And some of those people could have done that. If you have healed from some of the things that manipulated you, sometimes people can be in their ego about that. Well, why'd you heal? Why'd you heal from your self-limiting beliefs? Why'd you heal from your past pain and heartbreak? I thought we were going to move forward together, kind of being on the same page forever. Neither one of us was going to learn to love ourselves. We were both going to keep indulging our more immature nature and maybe staying in a relationship out of codependency or something. Well, you changed. Well, I don't want to change. So then they might not want people to know that you really kind of had healed or grown and matured yourself. And they didn't want to. Who wants to tell people, well, they wanted me to grow or heal or mature myself? I didn't want to. So instead, they will try to confuse people about the truth of why that relationship ended. And maybe try to confuse people about the truth of who you are. Maybe say that you have these more shadowy traits and characteristics. So that people, because if they're really not motivated and inspired by love, pretty much the thing they have going for them is their status or their image or their looks or their money or whatever. And that's what they rely on to get people to get in a relationship with them. So people can't think you are this just and fair and loving and nurturing person. Why wouldn't they move forward in a relationship? Because you wanted them to be that kind of person, and they don't want people to know they're not that type of person. So then they have to backstab you. And they could have been hoping that it would completely derail your life because you would have been so hurt and felt so backstabbed that maybe then you would have taken action more out of fear or insecurity and pride and ego and drove your life into the ditch. And then they're like, perfect, then I can look like I'm the more stable, grounded, emotionally mature person. And everybody should view me like I have the traits and characteristics as you. That would be someone who kind of wants to steal from you by being hurtful and unkind. But for some of you, you didn't drive your life off into the ditch. You kept maintaining balance, loving and believing in yourself, trusting in the divine. You've transformed your whole life. You've moved on. And now some of those people, some of the people that they were trying to confuse about the truth of who you were, some of those people are being enlightened to the truth. It's like, well, I thought you said this person was this way, and I thought you said that person was that way. That doesn't seem to be the truth of who they are at all. You might seem to be the one who's kind of more immature or selfish or bossy or controlling or egotistical. And then some of those people don't want to be in a relationship with these people anymore. And now they're not moving as forward as victorious and successfully because instead of wanting to do the work within themselves to look like and be someone who's more stable and grounded and balanced and loving, it can just be hoping to make you drive your life off into the ditch and then they get a step into the scene like, look at me, I'm not doing that. It's like, yeah, you weren't the one who was backstabbed and betrayed and who was hurt. So, of course, it's easier for them to kind of be patient while you drive your life off into the ditch, hopefully, after they hurt you. And then they can come step in saying, see, I'm the person who's more stable and grounded and balanced and loving. And like I say, for some of those people, that was their plan and it didn't work out because you kept loving and believing in yourself and you weren't going to let hurtful, unkind, selfish, immature, bossy, controlling, unloving people drive your life off into the ditch. You just quit moving forward with them. And you still had hope and faith and belief in your dreams and you're moving forward having these new beginnings. And then they're like, shit, that didn't work out. And then the other people they probably tried to go get in a relationship with, because they're still the same person they were. They did not heal, grow, or mature themselves. Now some other people could be not willing to move forward with them in relationships. Now they got to go try to manipulate someone else. Because some of them are really full of themselves. Secretly. And they think other people should be consumed with them and love them. They love themselves and they think they indulge themselves and they think other people should be consumed with them. What's coming up for some of the people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Scorpio energy that they might not see coming? If nothing else, some people just have a very stubborn way of viewing life. They want to be in relationships with people, but they have this idea of what the proper way to live life is, or think about life, or act, or dress, or whatever. And if other people don't align with that, they really have a problem with it, because some people may be really instilled in their head once upon a time, or they just did it themselves, that it has to look like this and act like this and quack like this. 2 judgment cards, the Hierophant, the Knight of Pentacles, and the 4 of Cups. Why? Because of the Chariot. So there's some people in the world who try to present themselves as these emotionally balanced, loving family people. Either by getting in relationships with people who are in that energy, so then they look like they're that type of person too. And then sometimes when they've gotten in relationships with people who really are more high vibrational, that's not really the truth of who they are. So they get in relationships with people like that to create this illusion about who they are. But that really isn't how they want to move forward, because they're not motivated and inspired by love. They could be more motivated and inspired by themselves or these things of the world. So then they will end a relationship with the competition, which is loving people, because they're not aligned with their loving nature, really. And they could be sad about it, because it was great to be in a relationship with a loving, encouraging person who is tempered and balanced and encouraging, and they're kind of sad about it, but that's not their truth. And they either want to be in a relationship with people who will more indulge them in their immature nature, or it's really all about their image and their status, or being in a certain social group, and maybe the loving people weren't in that social status or group because those people aren't as concerned about that shit. They just live their normal life, but other people are like, oh no, I need these people to view me a certain way, and I need to hang out with those people. That says something about my worth and value. It's like, okay, that would be shadowy 5 of Cups Scorpio. That's more superficial and shallow. But some people also hide their more hopeful, believing nature, and they don't let it come out to play. And that was a conflict, being in relationships with loving people. Those people, I like that they let their more hopeful, believing, loving nature out to play, but now they want me to let mine out. And that's where I draw the line. I would have stayed in a relationship with them if they hadn't gotten where they wanted the relationship to grow and mature over time and become a more deep, meaningful relationship where I do have to let my more hopeful, believing, loving nature out. No, I'm not willing to do that. So I'll create an illusion about why this relationship ended. And even though I might have mental conflict about it, I'm still more inspired by my worldly nature, egoic nature, defensive nature. I'll go find someone else who I think is more on the same page as me, but some of those didn't work out. Regardless of if you're high vibe, worldly vibe, or shadowy vibe, we're all, if you looked at this as being lesson 1 and this as being lesson 5, like you had learned all these lessons in life, really enlightened to the truth, really motivated and inspired. Within each lesson category, it's a big spectrum. Trying to find someone who's still kind of more on the same page as you in a lot of ways, that you have commonality. Well, but you want to live we're in common, but you want to live in a big town. I want to live in a small town. You're of this religion. I'm of that religion. That's a problem. I don't know. The things you like to go do versus the things I like to go do. There's still all these things we need to negotiate, right? To have commonality with. It's still challenging to find the right person, right? Anyway, I think some people are really facing some judgment. Maybe by the people they were moving forward with, and maybe by other people in their community, in their family, in their friendship group. Because they keep wanting to not do love, and other people are starting to see the truth of it. That they use their Cancer energy. They can get in relationship with people who are loving, harness high vibe Cancer energy. But they kind of harness their Cancer energy, their loving, more emotional nature, in a more shadowy way. Create the illusion of being loving, but not really do love. Kind of use your emotions manipulatively, hoping that maybe if they look victorious and successful in the world and have a certain status or image or social clout or power or attractiveness or whatever they've got, that's what they offer people. And people want love. And they're like, I'm not willing to do that. Some people got out of a relationship with people they could have had their dreams come into reality with, if they had been willing to have some hope and faith and belief in love. Instead, some of them could be having other relationships or already have had 2 relationships end on them, and they're looking significant ones, and they're looking to move forward in another one. Or they keep trying to use other people to backstab and manipulate other people, and the other people have already called judgment on them. And their plan isn't working, and they're having to go invest in someone else. And it might be someone they don't even want to be in a relationship with. But if the most important thing is to look like, oh no, I've changed, I've healed, I'm not the same person I am. Look, I must be this loving person. Look, I'm in a relationship with someone. They wouldn't stay in a relationship with me if I wasn't loving, right? And it's like, yeah, because shadowy Libra, which anyone can harness, is about someone's kind of like public politician persona. Shadowy Cancer Chariot, like, look at me, I'm this loving family person. Look at this persona. Look how just and fair I look. Look at the different people I know, and, this illusion I've created. And then people get in a relationship with them and they realize that there's all these hidden things going on beneath the surface. And then other people realize, I don't want to move forward with these people. And the other people move on. Until these people wake up to the truth that if you want to be in relationships with other people, it's not just all about you. And it's not living more from your mind than your heart. It's about being inspired to want to even work together with other people to bring a dream. And they're like, but I want those things, but I just want to be able to manipulate you and live more from my mind than my heart. I don't really want to have to heal or grow or mature or invest in people. It's like, well, then good luck. And if they do find someone, it might be someone who has their own lessons learned, could be a very loving, nurturing person. A lot of loving people can be there. Oh, look at this person. But that can be an illusion they've created. Oh, poor person. I'm going to go help them. I know they're not emotionally balanced, and I know they don't love and believe in themselves, but I'm that type of person. I'm going to change them. While other people have already went through that stage of life, and they've realized I'm not going to try to change people anymore. I'm going to offer people love and encouragement, and then I'm going to go on my way. And if they ever work through their issues to be more inspired and have healed and grown and matured themselves, then maybe at that point I'll get in a relationship with them. But some other people haven't learned that lesson. They're still like, oh, the poor person, I'm going to change them. Well, some of these people are just creating an illusion. They have no intention of changing. But these people serve a purpose in the world to help other people think about what their philosophy of life is, why they get in relationships for the reasons they do, and part of the reason we're kind of imbalanced ourselves. We can be a very loving person and we indulge people in poor behavior. Well, that's an injustice. Love is supposed to be just and fair, and you treat other people the way you like to be treated. And until some other people learn that lesson, they are going to indulge people in their poor behavior. And then they're going to feel backstabbed, and they're going to feel manipulated, and they're going to be confused. It's like, well, because you were hiding from the truth. You either deal with the truth of where the truth is of where people are at in their life, or you kind of stay in denial of the truth, and it's probably not going to work out the way you want. And some other people is like, yep, from now on, if I see someone and they show me kind of as I'm getting to know them, that they're just not open and warm and loving and having some hope and faith and belief in love, and they're shut down, and all these things still manipulate them. I need to let them get in a relationship with someone who's maybe more on the same page as them, because I did work through those things and I have freed myself from those things. And if I get in a relationship with someone who's more imprisoned by those things, then I'm going to be imprisoned by those things, even though those aren't issues that manipulate me. And they could be in more codependent energy, looking for you to be the answer, but you can't be the answer. We offer people love and encouragement, and they have to quit moving forward in that energy, and they need to do this work within themselves to work through those things that manipulate them. And there are going to be some people in your life that do that, and they are going to move forward with you because they are no longer in a mental prison, because they learned to offer love to themselves. And other people who didn't do that, they're still just not ready to deal with the truth of why they let these things manipulate them. And until they're willing to work through it, and it takes investing time, energy, and effort, some people are like, screw it. I'll just go do this instead. I'm sure it'll work out. And it doesn't work out the way they think. But if they just want to be in a relationship to feel better, if they can find someone else who wants to be in a relationship just to feel better, if they're more about ego or image or stability or security or status, and they can find someone else who's willing to be in a relationship with them for those reasons, it's more about the world or codependency or not wanting to do love. And if people are willing to work things out and move forward with them, taking all those things into consideration, well, then they're all on the same page, and that is a just and fair relationship. It's just that people might see the truth, that the reason why they're in the relationship is because of those reasons, not maybe because they have hope and faith and belief and love. And that's okay, because everybody, you're free to live your life whatever way you want. Oh, we know all sorts of people that are in all sorts of different relationships for all different sorts of reasons. You do you, man. Whatever flips your switch. Whatever makes you happy. It's just that other people then get out of their ego about it. I didn't find that enjoyable. I could have moved forward with it probably if I wanted, but I didn't want to. Because it caused me a lot of inner conflict, and I felt like I was missing an opportunity in love. And that's not how I wanted to move forward. I want to manifest a dream. And I am going to do this work to love and believe in myself so I can go take action to bring that dream into reality. So there you go, Scorpio energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.